Hola amigas y amigos, en esta lección hablamos de las horas en español.
Vamos a empezar. So, in this lesson, we're going to be talking about qué hora es, and I'm hoping that I don't have to tell you what this means, that you could just look at it and take a pretty educated guess. Qué means what, and es means is it, in the sense of a question. So, hora, what do you suppose that means? What is the time? What is the hour? What hour is it? What time is it? This is the question we are addressing today. Let's start right here with the simple, the basics. Es la una. If it is 1 o'clock, we say es la una. If it is any other time besides 1 o'clock, we use son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro, son las cinco. So I've got a couple of questions about this. First of all, why is it la una? When we say es la una, why don't we say es el uno? Then the other question I have is, why do we use es here and not son? If all of the other ones use son las tres, son las ocho, if all of the other ones use son, why do we use es la on this one? Let's break this down. Question number 1. Why do we use la una instead of el uno? Well, I'm going to ask that you actually look back at the question. Recall what the question asks you. It says, ¿Qué hora es? What are we talking about in this sentence? What am I asking you about? I'm asking about the time, right? And have a look right here. What is the gender of the word for time? Is it male or female? Hopefully you're saying it is female. So when we ask about what time it is, and then I respond that it is 1 o'clock, it's the 1 o'clock hour, that one is describing a feminine thing. So it has to be feminine as well because of agreement. And by the way, I am recording this outside because I'm sharing my class with another teacher. So you'll have to forgive those weird construction sounds in the background if you can hear them. But we're going to keep on trucking. Here we go. The next question I had was, why do we use es and not son? If all of the other ones use son, how come the 1 o'clock hour doesn't? For this, we need to look at the conjugation of ser here. All right? Soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son. Now, again, the question asked about the hora, all right? Now, when I say hora, is that first, second, or third person? Well, it's not me, so it's not first person. It's not you, so it's not second person. That means it's got to go in our junk drawer, that third person box. Now, hora, is that singular or is it plural? Am I talking about 1 hour or more than 1 hour? Well, when I'm responding that it is 1 o'clock, I'm talking about one single hour. So that means hora is third person singular. And which conjugation do we need? Which one of these is third person singular, in other words? Hopefully you're saying es. Es is the third person singular, and that's why we say es la una. But when the hours are plural, well, hours are plural. Now we're in the third person plural box, which is son. Son las dos, son las doce, son las 10. Those are all plural hours, so they use the third person plural conjugation to be. So, horas y minutos. Horas y minutos. Hours and minutes. I'm emphasizing this e here for a reason. Because as a standard general rule, you will have the word e between the hour and the minutes. So let's look at this example here. Number 11. It's 11:37. Let's say that. Son las 11. I use son las because 11 is plural. Y 37. Then my minutes. The next one. Es la una. It's the 1 o'clock hour. So we use es la. Y 20. And 20. So it's 1:20. Son las 8:07. It is 8:07. So if you do exactly what I've said about the E between the hours and the minutes, that's a surefire way to never get this wrong. So stick with that. But what I'm about to tell you is that E really is only mandatory up until the 10 minutes. So On the first one here, 11:37, it is perfectly acceptable for us to say son las 11:37. Okay, that's fine. On the next one, it is 1:20. It's perfectly fine to say es la 1:20. But on the next one, okay, son las 8:07. That E must be there. We can't get rid of it. And that it's obligatory up through 10, actually, up to 10, not through 10. So think about this kind of like in English, all right? It's perfectly fine to say, it's 1:20, but if you can't say it's 1:03. It's like missing a syllable, like an extra bump in there. You have to say it's 1:03. We had that syllable in there. And I don't know why that is. Why can't we just say it's 1:03 or it's 12:07? No, you have to say it's 12:07 or it's 1:03. So it's kind of just like a cadence thing. And same thing applies in Spanish. So when you're in your single digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that E is mandatory. You must have it for the flow of the language to actually sound proper. But again, if you just put the E between the hours and the minutes every single time, you'll never get it wrong, and you can just ignore everything that I just was rambling on about. So let's try a little mini practica here, a little mini practice. 4:18. How are you going to say it is 4:18? Let's start off with asking the question, will it be es la or son las? Hopefully you're saying son las. And then we'll state the hours, son las 4. And then we need our E, and then we need our minutes, 18. Now, that is completely acceptable to say it that way. Is the E between the hours and the minutes, is that optional here? It absolutely is. The E is indeed optional. So you can say son las 4:18, that's fine. Or you can simply say son las 4:18. That's also well. So that E between the hours and the minutes, that's up to you. All right, this next one, 1:39. Now we're going to start off with es la or son las. Es la, because we got a single hour here, right? So we need the third person singular conjugation of ser. Es la una. Remember to keep it feminine because ahora is feminine. Y, and what are the minutes? 39. Es la 1:39. Now, is that E between the hours and the minutes? Is that necessary? It's optional. Es la 1:39 works just as fine. Next one, 12:03. Well, we're going to start off with es la or son las. Son las, I hope you're saying. Son las, 12. Son las 12. Y 3. Now, is the E between the hours and the minutes? Is that necessary? Yes, we have to have that one. It's not optional. Okay, let's move on to some términos útiles. I hope you can guess what this means, maybe by looking at it. This means useful terms, términos útiles. Write these down. Okay, so, or type these out. I guess we're doing things a little different these days. Write these down in your notes digitally or however you do it. Write this down. All right, so es el mediodía. This means it's noon. And notice that I've thrown out all those rules about es la and son las, because here we are not saying the hour is noon, but noon itself is the thing we're talking about. Es el mediodía, and mediodía is masculine singular. Es el mediodía. So this is how we say it's noon. Next, to say it's midnight, again, this is es la medianoche. Does not follow the son las. You will never say son las medianoche, but es la medianoche, because medianoche is a noun in of itself. It stands alone. And it is feminine singular, la medianoche. And then, really, you can ignore the white part here. Son las 5:30. This means, it's another way of saying it is 5:30. So you can say son las 5:30. That's fine. But this media literally means a half. So it's 5:30, and that's a very common way to say time. So this next one, son las 4:15. Notice how close those words are spelled, but they are not the same word. Cuatro, I hope you know, means 4, whereas cuarto means a quarter, 1/4. So 1/4. That's a quarter of an hour, or 15 minutes. Son las 4:15. It's 4:15. And then the last one, son las 10:00. En punto means boop, on the dot. So son las 10:00, it is 10 on the dot. Here, we have got another question to answer. So whereas before I asked, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Now I'm asking, ¿Qué hora es? And the word in this context means at. At what time is it? So now we're talking about asking for the time of an event. At what time does this event happen? Like so, let's talk about these two examples. ¿A qué hora es la clase de español? At what time is Spanish class? Well, to respond to this, I've color-coded this to help you see where the words move around a little bit. La clase de español is at las 8:30. Now notice I've used the las here in front of ocho because ocho is plural hours and hours are feminine. Es a las 8:30. La clase de español es a las 8:30. ¿A qué hora es la clase de inglés? What time is English class, or at what time is English class? You would respond, la clase de español es a las 10. Y I think that was cuarto behind my screen there, which would be 10:15, 10:15. La clase de español es a las 10:15.
Así acabamos esta lección de decir las horas en español. Gracias por su atención y hasta la próxima. Chao.